So before I introduce to you this next amazing person, I just want to give a clear shout out. I know y'all see the shirt. I know you see it, to the Philadelphia Eagles for winning the 2025 Super Bowl. It's very interesting because, I grew up literally loving the Philadelphia Eagles because it was my grandfather's team, and meeting Chris, someone from LA who also loved the Philadelphia Eagles, was just like a one in a million like I would have never thought that I would be dating and then marrying another person who was a Philadelphia Eagles fan. And so the experience for us was amazing. So yeah, shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. We love you guys. Also, what this means, ladies and gentlemen, when you see a Black girl with this type of style, I'm going on vacation. Exactly. That means I am going on vacation, and not just any vacation. My honeymoon. Yay, my honeymoon. So yes, we got married in October, for those of you who don't know. And this is a quick turnaround for a honeymoon for us, because I also wanted the opportunity to use this trip to celebrate my birthday. I got a big milestone birthday coming up. And instead of trying to plan a birthday and do all the organizing again, sometimes I can feel like planning a wedding all over again. But instead of doing that, I wanted to do something that I absolutely love, and that's travel. And so CB and I are so excited to bring you that in our experience. And so we will have a slight season pause so that we can get our vacation in and get our relaxation in, but also want to bring you along the journey when we get back and talk to you about our experience. We still haven't really announced where we're going. A lot of you probably know where we're going, but I'll try to keep it as much as a secret as I think it is. For those of you who don't know, and then we'll be, letting you know what that adventure looks like when we get back. So moving on, I want to introduce you all to this wonderful woman. Her name is Chef Brandi, okay, also known as Chef B, okay, my Pisces sister. And one thing about her that I absolutely love is her dual persona. She has this strong figure in the kitchen, knowing what needs to be done, serving the food at its best quality, making sure it goes out and people are enjoying the food, enjoying the atmosphere. You know that when you step into Pretty Soul Kitchen, that Chef B has everything under control. But getting a chance to actually sit down with Chef B and peel off that chef outer layer and talk to Brandi was an even more amazing experience. Brandi is cool. She's calm. She's shy, but she's not, but she's shy. It's just something about her aura that really does make you want to know more about her. And I really feel like you guys, once you get a chance to see her and feel her vibe outside of being Chef B, you will 100% agree with me that she is a vibe. And so this episode, we're really going to be talking about, her concept for Pretty Soul Kitchen. And we're going to talk about, how she was able to open up a brick and mortar restaurant in Las Vegas and what it takes, right? What it takes to do something like that, because it's no small venture. We may start small in the business, but once we start to grow, growth is great, but growth comes with so much more responsibility and so much more dedication, right? And so she really talks us through a lot of, the inside challenges, but also the inside motivation and the work and the headspace it takes to be the owner of a restaurant. And so it was a pleasure speaking with her. I know you guys are going to love her, and I will see you guys in a few weeks with me and CB's honeymoon adventure. I really look forward to seeing you guys again, because you're not only going to enjoy this, but you're also going to really enjoy what CB and I have put together for you in the next couple of weeks. Until then, enjoy the interview. How are you?
I am great.
Yes.
Yes.
I've been meaning to get you here on the podcast for a long time because I really love everything that you're doing. I love how your business is a creative reflection of who you are.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for people to really get to know who you are, which I think is really important when we go out and we support local Black businesses.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yes. My first question overall is just what inspired you to create Pretty Soul Kitchen?
What inspired me is the fact that I just love to cook. And I wanted to do something that reflected me and who I was. But Pretty Soul Kitchen, I went through plenty names before that. But Pretty Soul Kitchen itself was pretty much derived with thinking about meal prep, because I used to do meal prep. So feeding people healthy food so that you feel good on inside, which makes you feel pretty on the outside. Right. Yeah, so that's kind of where that came from.
And you know, when we talk about soul food, right? We talk about what food makes us feel when we eat it, right? You are bringing the soul with your cooking and putting it into your food. When someone says soul food to you or bringing the soul back in food, what does that mean to you when you prepare dishes for people every day?
So it doesn't mean what everybody else thinks soul food means. So to me, soul food is really the food that makes you feel good. I mean, essentially, that's that comfort food, that's that Southern style food. But Pretty Soul Kitchen is more than that. I kind of got pushed into that category because of the name, and most people want traditional soul food, the mac, the collards, the fried chicken. But for me, it really isn't any of that. It is just food that makes you feel good, food that tastes good, food that looks good when you see it. To me, that is what soul food is.
Our food looks good. It's too good. And I feel also though, because when you go to other Black establishments, depending on what they're cooking, I feel like soul food gets overused a lot, right?
Does.
Because traditional soul food isn't necessarily what we would consider comfort food. Yeah. It's like the food that our grandparents had to eat back in the day that we would never touch, like chitlins or anything like that. Are you a chitlins girly?
No. And people call here all the time, do you have chitlins? I'm like, no, we don't serve any pork.
That's too much soul.
It's
too much soul.
Way too much. Way too much.
Yeah, my grandmother loves chitlins. Yeah. And anytime she even thinks about bringing it up, we're like, do it on your own time. Yeah. Not on ours.
Exactly. That is not my thing. I've never even cooked them or eaten them.
Same.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what you were doing before Pretty Soul Kitchen and what pivotal moment made your decision to open up the restaurant, to just finally do it. Because I know imposter syndrome can be a thing no matter how good we are at something. It's like, are people really going to like this?
Yeah.
So what was that ultimate decision to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do it?
So when I moved to Vegas, just kind of getting my feet wet and just seeing what the need was out here, which is kind of what pushed me into the soul food. So, I started with meal prep because the crazy part is I wanted to just like do catering, but when people were like, oh, we don't know who you are, we got to try it out first. I'm like, okay, don't worry.
Right.
Y'all gonna know who I am. Okay. So, I started doing some events. I was connected with some great people that also, promoted my business and got the word out. And I did like a foodie event and allow people to actually come and taste it. Mm-hmm. And so the meal prep picked up, the personal chef picked up, and even catering. And so at that point, it was just, just moving forward. When I finally just said, I'm going to have a brick and mortar, I'm going to focus on that, I was just getting too busy. And I could not do a lot of the things that I wanted to do from my home. So when I was cooking out of my house, like I was so busy and I'm like doing 100, person party. And I'm just like, oh my God, can I do this at home? Mm-hmm. Like my one little stove does not work. So I had to find other alternatives. I worked out of a shared kitchen space, which allowed me to experience what it was, for the most part, to kind of have that brick and mortar, even though, people couldn't dine in, but it still gave me that experience. I've always worked in some sort of restaurant environment, working for someone else, but I decided when I was here about maybe 8 months that I did not want to work for anyone. It's just, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. I don't like doing that. So I needed to wholeheartedly pursue my goals and my dreams. And in that moment, everything else started to line up for me. So it was more of just focusing on the goal and just continuously, work towards that, sharing what it is that I do. Because I am a little bit shy, but not really, but kind of. So
she's right. All that whole thing she just said is a fact. She's a little bit shy, but she's not, but she is.
Right. Like seriously. So, but with that being said, a lot of times I would not even share my business with people. I'm meeting people, I'm going to networking events. And I had a friend one time tell me that if you're going to be around me, you need to talk about your business. And I was like, how could you talk to me like that?
Put me on blast.
Like seriously. And it really made me feel some kind of way, like to the point that I didn't talk to him for like about a few months. But when it set in, like really, he was right. If you're going to go for your goals, you have to tell people, because how is anybody going to know about you? How is anyone going to know what you do if you don't share it? So that it sits, it really sat with me for a cool second. Like I really had to check myself on that, because why am I upset about someone telling me that I need to do something to better myself, and to share myself with other people. So with all of that being said, it just came a moment in my mind where I just decided that I'm just not going to work for anyone. And if I'm going to not work for anyone, I got to make some money. So I got to do it for myself. But, knowing that being an entrepreneur is very challenging, going for those goals, you really have to have a strong mind and a strong heart, knowing that regardless of what you do or what your goal is, it's going to be some rough times, and I've definitely been tested throughout this journey, 100%. But all of those tests were necessary, and I'll always look back. And even while I'm in it, which is the hardest part, when you're in that storm, telling yourself that at the end of all of this, you're going to realize that everything that you have experienced was worth it, and man, and it it pays off, but it's hard to get through it, because I spent a lot of nights crying, trying to figure out where some money was going to come from, how I'm going to pay some rent at my own house, and just knowing that I know what I want. I know that I have to do this, and I have to share this with other people. I have to figure out a way to grow my business. And when I just really focused on those things, it just all comes, I'm one of God's favorites, honestly. He takes care of me. So even when I was crying, like, oh my God, I don't have no money coming in this week, God be like, don't worry about it, I got you. And somebody call, and I got a catering, that, I'm going to get 2,000 for, something like that. And it always works out.
Yeah, you already kind of talked about what are some of the challenges that you face, and you can reiterate on that, because what are some of the challenges that you face as a Black woman with a restaurant in Las Vegas, and what's some advice that you could give to other young Black women who are scared or hesitant in starting a brick and mortar establishment of some kind? So what are those challenges, and what advice do you give to other young ladies who are trying to do what you're doing?
So the challenges on the journey itself really was just trying to figure it out, not knowing who to call, what you're supposed to be calling about, and just really putting those things in line, because honestly nobody was talking about how to build a business until we went through pandemic. Now everyone is online sharing these are the steps. So not really knowing what the steps were, that was one of the most challenging parts. And again, like I said, just being an entrepreneur and really not knowing where your next income was coming from, that can definitely bring a lot of people down. Most people, have a 9 to 5 and they do something on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But when you solely only do that one thing, and you don't have anything to fall back on, that is definitely the most challenging part. But I feel like anyone that wants to go for a goal, whatever that may be, have a brick and mortar or just have a business itself, because it doesn't always have to be a brick and mortar. People are becoming very successful online these days. But if you decide that you have a goal, you have to have focused intentions. And that means everything that you do, everything that you think about has to go towards that goal. Because the things that you focus on most show up in your life, whether it's positive or negative. So, when you focus on those positive things, you focus on whatever that goal is, you focus on the things that you want, they have no choice but to show up in your life. So I really think that's also challenging as well.
Keeping that faith.
Yeah, it is. That is definitely challenging because you have so many things going on in the world, not just, with your personal life, but just life itself. Things happen and, people look at this one thing, this one bad thing, and they're like, oh, well, maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't. And it's usually not. It's usually a sign that you should. It's usually a sign, or more so a test to see, do you really want what you're asking for? Because I've definitely had quite a few moments where that has happened to me in my journey. But when you think about it, it's like, if I give up now, I've come this far for what? I always talk about when it's this little meme that I saw. This was years ago. It probably wasn't even considered a meme then, but anyway, I saw this little clip, and it's like, it's two miners, right? One of them is hacking away at some diamonds, or both of them are. They're hacking away at the diamonds, and one of them stops and turns around. The one at the bottom, he keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And he comes to this big old diamond. The first one, if he just had, he's like 2 hacks away from, thousands and thousands of diamonds. But he stopped because he had been hacking away at this dirt for forever. And he stopped and turned around. Mm-hmm. And then the one that kept going, he gets to the biggest diamond. And it's not even the size or the amount of diamonds that you're going after, is the thing that you want the most. Do you want to put in that work? Do you want to be consistent with the work? And do you believe in yourself enough to continue through this journey, even though it seems like it's taking forever? And so, honestly, like, I hold that image in my mind, because even when the times have gotten hard, it's like, literally, if you just go through this one thing right here, it could be those diamonds that you're asking for, and so, and that's one thing that I always try to share with people that are going through anything, or, trying to accomplish something. Just keep that goal in mind, no matter what. Just keep that in mind, because it's going to happen. It's just going to take some time. And sometimes you have to grow. You can't always get the things that you want right in that moment, because you might not even know what to do with it. So you have to grow. You have to experience some stuff. You have to be taught some lessons, so that when you do get those things, you know what to do with it. And for me, I definitely experienced a lot of that. But it's all been worth it, because I've been able to get through all of those things and get to this point where I do have a brick and mortar. I'm able to employ people. I am able to, just give opportunity. And then another thing that I do as well, I'm able to teach.
What's your personal favorite item on the menu, and what memory does it invoke?
Well, I have quite a few personal favorites. Um, Nothing really that has a memory attached to it. Um, Only because the majority, well, really everything that I prepare is something that I just created. Um, I can say so. So it's like a two-part
Right.
answer. Okay. So my favorite thing on the menu would be the branzino. That's served with the fried shrimp and the garlic mashed potatoes and broccolini. Now that's my favorite on the menu because I could eat that all the time.
Yeah.
But one that would probably provoke some sort of memory would be the soul bowl. The chicken soul bowl specifically, because that was one of my original dishes, and it actually started out as a soul jar. So I created it for like a food truck and to do like events. And it was just a layer. It started with the cornbread, the collard greens, the macaroni and cheese, and then the chicken. I have to send you a photo because maybe you can attach it to this.
Yeah.
But that was the original vision. And when I say vision, literally it was a vision that came to me. I a lot of things come to me, and it might sound a little weird, but a lot of things that I create come to me in my dreams. And when I see it, I have to act on it. That's just part of my journey. Like it's something that I have to do. So when I created it, it came to me, and I did it. So
Seeing is believing. She's even dreaming in her sleep. She's cooking in her sleep, y'all.
Yeah, seriously.
I love that
Like
for you.
literally.
I love that. So let's go back. Tell us where you're originally from and how has that impacted your cooking style?
So I was raised in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, and honestly, I don't feel like it impacted my style of cooking at all. Um, I mean, I was raised with, my grandmother, my great grandmother in the kitchen cooking all the time. And the one thing that I didn't get from my grandmother is the baking hands. Like she bakes like no other, but I can do a couple of things. But honestly, this is a God-given gift. This is a talent that you can't learn from somewhere. I did go to culinary school, but I went to culinary school to fine tune the things that came natural to me. And that was to just learn some skills that I, never really knew about. And honestly, a lot of things I was already doing and just didn't have a name for what that was, what that step was. But going to culinary school definitely fine-tuned those skills, even down to like my knife skills and things like that. So it's very much so necessary for my journey. But when it comes to the actual cooking itself, literally, when I tell you it's a God-given gift, it's something that I get visions about. It's something that I just think of it and I bring it into life. Some stuff I've never made before and I see it in the grocery store. I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me try that today. And it just comes out good. And is an unexplainable thing that I have in me. Like when you say cook in my sleep, I literally can cook in my sleep. That is one of those things. Like I don't even have to know how to do it or what to do with something. And it just comes out, good. And even down to like looking at other recipes, I've looked at recipes and it's just a matter of, okay, these are the ingredients. I know what to do. Like I don't go step by step unless I'm baking. That's the only one. Because baking is not my strong suit, but anything else, I got you.
Right.
So,
I can bake some Pillsbury's.
Okay.
They come with instructions.
Yeah. But I'm grateful for the gift. It's one of those things where I am always challenge driven. And that's how I've been able to accomplish a lot of my goals. And because of that, it's always challenging in the kitchen, so, but it's good. It's good.
With all of the success that you've had with Pretty Soul Kitchen, how does that affect your love life?
So, I think the way that it has affected my love life, because I'm always here, right? I am literally always here. Um, so some people understand it, some people don't. A lot more don't than do. But I will tell people any day, my business gonna come first. Because I worked so hard to get here. I'm not gonna not have it because
listen, she's basically saying she's single. Ask her to be your Valentine, but she will be at work when you ask her.
Basically. But it's like, so the ones that don't understand seem to like just fall by the wayside. And it's okay. It's okay because I don't need someone in my life that tells me, oh, you need to take a vacation. Oh, you don't need to work so hard. Oh, you don't. Because I do. Until this place is able to run solely without me, then I do need to be here. And so that type of person is very important.
Absolutely. You want someone to support your goals and everything. So with the future of Pretty Soul Kitchen just looking so bright, and you just got your liquor license, you got the hookah going on, we got activities and game nights and karaoke and all these different elements that you are bringing to the restaurant now. What do you envision in the future for Pretty Soul Kitchen?
So I definitely want an additional location. At least like maybe a Henderson area, but I definitely want people to understand that we are more than soul food. For me, that is very, very important because we are. I do offer that traditional soul food, but we have so many other things. And those are the things that I want people to try as well. I want them to see us as an elevated dining experience and not just soul food. So I do envision that, we give that vibe where you want to come and chill and have a good time, bring your friends and your family, enjoy yourself, the good music, good cocktails, and even better food, and a variety of food too, because we just added the cocktail menu and like little small bites, but still very filling because you guys can.
So the food was slamming.
Okay. So just giving something a little bit different because summertime is rolling around and spring and summer. So we're going to stay open a little bit later once it starts getting a little warmer out and offer those different options. And like I said, stay open later and have entertainment and hookah and the cocktails flowing and all that good stuff. So I just envision us being the place to go. Not just for that soul food again, but just for that vibe itself, because we are a little bit later in the evening, more like loungy, so come in for that experience.
And I just want to say that I'm grateful that over the last year I've really just been able to tap into who you are and getting to know you, and everything she said about her being shy but not shy but shy. I just feel it from you. But also I just think that having you here on the podcast is just a pivotal opportunity for other men and women to be able to see themselves in you and to be able to reach those goals and fulfill those prophecies that they've prayed about within them, to be able to start whatever entrepreneurial venture they have in mind. So I thank you for just being that person in the community that people can look up to, and just continuing to grow our friendship, because you're a dope girl. Okay, don't be too shy. She dope, y'all. Period. So I love that, and thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for letting me share a little bit about me, because you know what, a lot of people don't know me. They just know my food and that's it. So yes, thank you. I appreciate it.